to fight for my earnings. Fear in my mind is a warning. Pray to the one you're relying. I've been wandering all day. I tried to be fine, but I can't be. The noise in my mind wouldn't leave me. I tried to get by, but I'm burning. I'm behind my mind, it runs. All these thoughts of troubling. Fighting to give up my pain. Fighting to be on my lane. My mind running to the other side. When it's time to leave my life, then it tries to pick me out. Tell you what I need. Right, yeah, I really need time. I need a friend right now. I really need my love. I need to free my mind now. I really need time. I need to free my now. I really need my now, yeah. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Send me in love that you cannot mix. One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you cannot fix. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way where you cannot see. Man with this system you cannot pray. I need to find release. But behind my mind it runs. All these thoughts are troubling. Fighting to give up my babe. Fighting to be on my lane. My mind running to the other side. When it's time to leave my life, then it tries to take me out. Tell you what I need. Right, yeah, I really need my love. I need to free my love. I need to free my mind now.
Thank you for coming in. I see y'all. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna be right with you. Right with you, baby.
Free than the open mind. Farther than the eyes can handle. Freer than the ocean now. Yeah, to set me free. Now I need to find relief. Set me to the open sky. Now I need to free my mind. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, I might be falling deep. 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 Tell me now why you need.
Falling deep in love with myself.
When I'm only my mind, I might be falling deep. Falling deep. I might be falling. I might be falling. I might be falling. I might be falling. Yeah.
Let's get it.
God is dawn. Like and subscribe. Comment some night. Love in this light. Here's God is dawn. God is dawn. God is dawn.
Peace, world, peace. Welcome back to God is Dawn Speaks. Yes, Megan testified today, child. We are talking about the People versus Tory Lanez, and trial is in motion, in session, and it's going down. Okay, so I'm getting right into this, and I'm not here too long today because unfortunately I only had about an hour and a half of actual court time. Obviously, Megan's presence caused a little bit of a circus, a little bit of extra people, a lot of press. And yeah, the lady who was helping me yesterday didn't know me today. Okay. That's how it goes, though. That's how it goes. I can't even be mad. So, I can't, it's nothing personal. That's just what it is. So listen. Let me just get into it. So, I didn't get into the courtroom. Oh, let me say hi to y'all. I got enough time to say hi to y'all now. Come on. Okay, Queen Keish, hello to you. Hopefully you're still here. Well, Wayne, thanks for having my back, sir, all the time. Let's see. Okay, we have, is it Amariana? Amariana's mommy is in the building. Hello. Welcome. Hey, Shamina, thanks for coming through, babes. Ashanti Dawson, good evening to you. It's good to see you, love. Victoria Plays. You're new, but you're here. Well, I'm loving that. Thank you for coming in and welcome. What's up, Love Warrior? You off work? Yes. Good. You're going to be right back. Well, come on, girl. Come on. I'm going to drop the link for you if you want. Let me know if you want me to drop the link. Nisi Fan 1, welcome back. Yes. Marcus XRI, what's up, King? It's good to see you as always. Yes. All right. Anybody who catches this, G Washington, what's up? So if you're in the replay and you're catching this, I appreciate you, because that's where really all my plays come from, the replay. I don't know why y'all can't come to my lives, but I try to, I think I don't, give enough notice. I didn't even post on my socials, and I got to start doing that, and I got to start being more consistent. Yeah, I know, but I'm glad y'all are here. It's all good. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll drop the link. Let me drop it now, because I'm going to forget. Okay, hopefully you guys had a good day today. It's Tuesday. I'm beat, man. I don't know how people report on trials on a regular. I just don't know how they do it. I don't. But God bless them. Okay, the link has been posted in the chat. And anybody who wants to come in and chime in, or if you have, questions or whatever, come on through. So, all right. So I was allowed in finally after the lunch break, and TORY was there. He had a plaid. I don't know if it was light brown or light green, but he always dresses nice. Can't never take that away from him. He's a smooth cat. Megan, she was wearing a bright and beautiful purple suit, looking like money. Both of them were actually looking like money, but she definitely looked like money, child. She definitely looked like money. So the female prosecutor, there were the male prosecutor yesterday had the lead, but today the female prosecutor had the lead seat. Okay. Now, she asked Megan first and foremost if she's a private person and if she's having a difficult time testifying. And no, Kelsey is supposed to be there tomorrow, mommy. Kelsey's supposed to be there tomorrow, which is why I'm going back. Because honestly, after today, I was like, I think I'm done. But I do want to hear what Kelsey has to say, as well as, they say the driver is going to be testifying at some point too. So I'll definitely be looking forward to that. So she asked her, are you a private person? She said, I don't even remember what she said. She asked her if she was having a hard time testifying. And she was literally crying. She was like, it's difficult having to sit across people. Matter of fact, she was loud as hell. I don't know if it was just the fact that, the mic was right in front of her, but the mic was in front of everybody. She kind of, in my opinion, shook the room. She was powerful, loud, like crying, yelling. She was very dramatic and animated today in her testimony. So, it's difficult. Let me put on my acting. Let me be Megan. Okay. I'll be the prosecutor. So, all right, are you a private person? Are you having a difficult time testifying? It is difficult having to sit across people who've been lying on me, especially TORY. She basically said his PR person had been selling lies to the blogs that support TORY, the blogs that are in TORY's pocket. She's like, I don't like to be weak. She says she don't like to be weak or perceived as weak. So that's why, she's, I guess, coming across. This is why she's angry, and she was angry. Okay, she said she So so they asked her, about the shooting, I guess, because I don't know. It was hard for me to take notes today for some reason. And I don't know if it was the way that the questions were being asked or the fact that I was in the damn hallway for damn 4 or 5 hours or what. But my notes are like really weird today. So just like bear with me. So my notes say, she said she turned her head and saw TORY shooting. She heard the gunshots, but didn't remember how many. So then they played the recording of the gunshots. So she asked her, have you ever been shot at? No, never in my life. Okay. Have you, she said, he said, dance bitch. And I looked because I guess the question was, you said your back was turned on 1 minute, but then you said you saw him. Which one is it? Well, she said, when he said dance bitch, that she turned around and she saw him with the gun and shooting. She said he shot at her and she froze. She turned around and put her head down, or looked down, I think it was. She looked down and she said because she was scared. She was scared. So she looked down and she froze. That's what she said. She said she saw him holding the gun. She repeated that quite a bit. Now, she cried throughout pretty much most of the testimony. She was crying until the defense attorney came up. But let me bring Love Warrior in here. Hey,
Got it. I'm here. Hey.
Yes. Thank you so
Queen.
much. I know you had a long day at work coming in here for me. Thank you so much.
I cannot miss you. I'm so excited.
Know, right?
How are you? I love this. I love you being down.
Don't we miss Miss Della? We miss Miss
Della.
Della.
Miss Della, where you at? Come on, Queen.
She in the chat. This ain't her thing, but yeah. I appreciate her support. I appreciate everybody's support.
And hi, all warriors, chat, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to listen to you finish the story.
Okay. And feel free to stop me if you have a question or something. That's why I want you to come up in case.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Okay. So, Mariana, I'm going to call you Mommy. Okay. Mommy, well, let me go back to the chat. Asked, do you think she was putting on? I don't know about putting on. I would say she did seem to be coached. And I only say that because you could tell, how do I say this without making it seem like she was just straight up acting? I don't think she was acting or putting on, but I do believe, she was given some pointers. Let's see.
That's because she's got those good lawyers. They know you need to prep your client because all cameras. Yeah.
And now keep in mind the prosecutors in the case are from the state, and I'm pretty sure she has her own attorneys or whatever. Because I was trying to think of who her team consisted of. She had a very small team of people with her, and one of them was actually Tamika Mallory of Black Lives Matter.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. And I was able to actually, I know she gets a lot of what is the word?
Backlash about the money.
Backlash, yeah. There you go. I was gonna say blowback, but yeah, backlash about the money and different things. But when beyond, it's kind of like you have to kind of really get past that kind of stuff because the media plays a big part, in some of the things that we hear and see of people, and there's an agenda a lot of times also. So,
and they did turn them letters. Unfortunately, the BLM movement, the media did just report a lot about the negative and not all the good they did either, anything associated with it, but that's true.
Exactly. So I did, I was like, hey girl, I was like, I'm so thankful for all your work. I just wanted to say that everybody was pretty much.
Goddess, go on, Goddess.
She's dope. So tiny and beautiful though. Let's see. Our mommy said it's funny, but it's not. I don't know what to believe. And a lot of people actually had that sentiment at the courthouse. But I'm just trying to answer some questions while I see them because I don't know if I'm gonna be going back up into the chat.
Weren't you saying that she seemed a little dramatic? She has that strong personality though. She,
Right.
as a woman. So that,
Mm-hmm.
that is part of her personality. She has that Southern Houston, Texas twang. And, she's a big, beautiful woman. She's not a small woman. And she does come across, with a strong personality.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, that's her whole, it's kind of on brand, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
that's,
absolutely. A
she's
hottie. She's a
a
hottie
hottie, not
queen.
only a hottie, she's the hottie coach. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mommy is asking if Party was there. No, he was not. And he does come up in her testimony, however, which is interesting. And I'll get to that. Let me just check the chat before I keep going. Hey, Miss Michelle Hurd. Thank you for coming in, child. Yes. Hug the babies. Okay. Back to court here. So like I said, she was crying and emotional and angry and loud and just, she said that again, she repeated the fact that he shot her. Every time she got the opportunity, she would say, because Tory shot me.
All right now.
She
Let them
was
know. Let them know,
she's not
Megan.
shy about it, okay? So she said that she didn't see Kelsey. They asked her if she saw Kelsey during the shooting. She said no. Hey, Sharita Michelle. She said she didn't see Kelsey while the shooting was happening. Obviously, would she be looking for Kelsey? I mean, but she said no, she didn't see her. She did testify to, okay, so they asked her about the scene where the helicopters were hovering and the whole scene that we've probably all seen. I don't know if y'all have, but it was a viral moment. She said that she was terrified with all the police officers, the helicopter, all the yelling, and plus what she just went through on top of that, obviously. She says she felt like let me get back into my acting mode. I feel like I didn't matter. Nobody cares what's happening to me. I feel like every man in a position of power, even if they're not a rapper, are coming at me. And I think I missed the part about every man in the industry. So basically, yeah, she's saying, she is being victimized all over again by these men, specifically that she said men in the industry who come at her hard because they don't like the fact that she is standing up for herself against Tory.
I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm. She said, I finally did something I wanted to achieve. I made a record with Beyonce. Yes, she said that. And she said, then I didn't stop. She's like, basically like, I don't even want to be seen in that light. It's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's working hard to get to this place and it happens, but then this happens. So
maybe that's why she didn't come out with the full story at first, because of the embarrassment.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think she did say that at some point.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Mommy said, yes, I love making. I'm 5'11". Oh, so I know about being tall. I pray the truth will prevail. I feel like her and Kelsey's relationship got messed up because of Tory. I'll tell you about what she said, why she don't speak to Kelsey. And I hope she gets it there. And I hope that she gets a therapist. Yeah, I hope she is definitely in therapy. She should be in therapy anyway, even after, because she lost her mom.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that affected her tremendously. So let's see. Okay, so then the prosecutor said, do you feel like your career was bigger than his at that time? She said, yes, it was.
Hell yeah, it was.
And
even
the look
though,
on his face, you should have seen the look on his face though. Like, excuse me? Excuse me? What? And
for real.
That kind of tells me a lot too, because the look on his face, meaning after she said that, because that supposedly is why they were arguing as hard as they were in the car, in the SUV, according to her, or according to her, the prosecutors, because she was insulting him as an artist, putting him down.
Okay,
so,
and his ego is so big anyway. That's his problem. The short self.
Tracy J, welcome. Tracy J says clout chasing and throwing names, and she thinks they all lying. All of them. Do you think the gun is lying? I'm just curious about that. I mean, I just want to know, because somebody has to be telling the truth about something. Somebody has to be. But I don't know. Who knows? Shit, I don't know. To be honest with you, the more I hear and stuff about this and at the courthouse meeting, I'm actually getting a little like soft-hearted on Tory. No, not to say that I don't think he deserves, to be held accountable or any of that. But when you look at him, and of course, man, he is really playing up the father role because he and his son playing in the hallway, and the press.
His ass don't want to go to jail. That's why he don't want to go to jail.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if people have something to say that Megan came out and lied. She didn't go to bed with him. She lied about glass in her foot or whatever. Women, listen. Some women hold their truths for years and decades of years, okay, to protect themselves and the embarrassment, the humiliation, because as a victim and being abused, I'm sorry, the powers that be, like Megan was saying, men or whatever, they want to sweep this stuff under the rug. So that's why a lot of women don't come out with their truth. But the gun didn't lie. The gun was hot. All that. Listen, the gun didn't shoot itself like you said, Goddess. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to
go ahead. No, go.
I had to say that because
say it with your chest. Okay, mommy said she was letting a lot of people mess around with her, and it hurt their ego, especially Tory, the baby, and Moneybag Yo. I do believe Tory shot her, but manner of how he did it is not coming out truthful. Yeah.
And all that industry folks be swapping saliva and other bodily fluids,
Okay. Yeah, that's not something. Well, she gets to that. So is it true she is now saying they had a sexual relationship, unlike she said on Gail's show? Yes, she is admitting. They say they were intimate, is how they're terming it. And when you say intimate, that can actually be anything sexual. It doesn't have to be actual intercourse. I'm just saying, because by the way, let me say this. I popped in on Conscious. I don't know if anybody watches Conscious TV, but shout out to Conscious. I was on his panel. I jumped on his panel last night because I'm telling you, child, he has a lady that comes on. Her name is Miss Barbara, and she be just saying the wildest stuff. Sometimes it's funny, but I was like, let me get on here and set this stuff straight, since I was actually in the courthouse, in the courtroom. And so I got on the panel. It was actually a good time. It was a good time. I love his show, actually. And I was going to go on today on the lunch break and give him an update while I was at court, but I wasn't able to be in the courtroom. So that didn't work out. But I did want to shout him out, because a lot of my new people might be coming from his channel, because he did shout out my channel and said he subscribed, and I do appreciate it. But
shout out Conscious TV. Yes. All right.
Yeah, so definitely check out Conscious TV if you are not subscribed or even aware of him, because he be lit. Okay. All right. So let me get back. Where was I at? Okay, so that she was being asked about the helicopter scene. She said, it made her, after the treatment that she's getting, she's like, just doesn't make her feel like she matters at all. At one point, well, let me just make sure I don't skip. She said it feels like, she said it's that the situation has made it worse for her and made him more popular. And I will say that a lot of people at court said they never heard of him ever before this. So,
yeah,
it's definitely been maybe helpful for him on that end. Helpful as far as popularity, not necessarily his life. He's facing 22 years. Okay, so
yeah, he was just strong on the R&B tip when he appeared out of Canada, and then he started hanging with the rappers and rapping a little bit. And his last two albums have a variety of music, rap, R&B, everything. So he's got a good fan base in his own right, but he's not, as far as publicity and, being known, I definitely would say Megan is more popular because of everything she has done, and who she put out music and Grammy Award winning and all those things. So,
well, yeah, but remember, okay, so think about 2020 when this happened in July of 2020. She was on the rise, but she wasn't where she is today. And not because of this case, just meaning because WAP came out after that. Like she said, she had just did the thing with Beyonce. So that was just now, you know what I'm saying? So since then, her star has risen. And arguably she would, today, I would say definitely she's more popular as far as in her music too than his. But I'm telling you, if you go on Twitter, it's gonna people who gonna fight you for saying that. Okay. But she said now I'm some type of a villain and he's the victim. And you can't really argue with her experience if she
no, you can't.
She's being vilified because she has spoken up on her own behalf. But like Tracy, was it Tracy? No, I'm sorry. Mommy said it's just the manner of how it's all happening. That's the thing that people are taking issue with.
And the women and women of color vilifying other women, and vilifying this woman of color is why some of the women came out. Viola Davis, can't remember some very prominent names. Angela, oh gosh, she plays in Black Panther. She's from St. Pete. My God, I can't think of Angela's last name. But they all spoke up in unison and signed a letter of support for Megan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jay said, "Hi Jay, welcome. Everybody focused on everything except someone was shot, and the person who did the shooting needs to be held accountable." Yeah,
that's right.
I definitely agree with that, but unfortunately, the way the law works and the way they are able to, pick things apart and focus on things that aren't really the issue. They, at the end of the day, it's putting a puzzle together. So, all of the little extra details are just pieces of that puzzle, unfortunately.
And you know what, Goddess? What you are witnessing there in the court is what counts, not what all the media and gossip outlets have honed in on, not any bias of one side or the other, but the actual evidence and testimony. What the jurors are being presented with is what's going to win this case.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that it plays out and without any like bullshit, meaning anything with the jury or anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope it's a straightforward trial and
not a mistrial or nothing. Right.
Yeah, and
right.
The jury is able to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Michelle Heard, I agree with you because Michelle's like, look, they need to outlaw drinking and gunplay, just like they have drinking and driving. But I think gunplay should be outlawed anyway. I mean, unless it's self-defense, which isn't it anyway? It is, right? You can't just be shooting people. Okay, so yeah, so Sharita says she should have said, "I don't discuss intimate details of my life," instead of lying, huh? And people would have took that and ran with it if she would have said that instead of saying, "No, we didn't." If she would have said, "I don't discuss the intimate details," they would have been like, "Oh yeah, she messed with him. She effed him." Yeah.
And when the way she said no, and she had a pause just for the millisecond that she did, everybody still doubted her at the time. So it doesn't matter. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. When you're a woman, okay? But a man wouldn't never be even asked that question on the stand,
Right.
So.
Yep. Okay, so they asked her about her change of heart. She said, it messed up her whole life. She said, "This has messed up my whole life." This is her crying and yelling, saying this. She said, "I had a change of heart about protecting him and not saying anything because TORY started going to the blogs and lying about me." She said, "If I was never at that party, hanging out with those people, this would probably never happen to me. How could I share?"
Now, Meg, you was partying a lot and drinking a lot too. Now back then, Meg. Now come on now.
Yeah, she was. She was hurting and coming up in the industry at the same time. Hurting behind her mom is what I meant about her mom's passing.
Right. I agree.
So she was, and she had Kylie Jenner's house. She like,
Yeah.
nigga, we made it.
We on a real come up.
Uh-huh. Okay. What else did she say? She said. So then it came up about, why didn't you? So you were intimate with him, but you didn't. You didn't say you when you were asked about it, you said you weren't. Like you lied, basically. She said, "How could I share?" She was embarrassed. She said she was embarrassed to say that she had messed with TORY. And she said, because especially after what happened, because she said, how could I share my body with somebody who would shoot me and then shame me for it? So she's like, I wasn't going to admit that. And she said, my own people, my partner is embarrassed because every day they putting a new name on my body, meaning, accusing her of sleeping with different men every day. She said, I can't even be happy. She said, I can't hold. And then, so I guess they asked her something about, I didn't have the question, but I just know she responded by saying, she can't hold conversations. I think it was something like, well, aren't you happy? Well, why aren't you happy? What do you mean you're not happy? Like you got living this life, it's like kind of like she don't have nobody. She don't have, nobody solid in her life. She can't hold conversation with people for a long time. She just don't want to be bothered with people, is what it sounds like. And then she basically said, I wish he would have just shot me. If I would have known I was going to have to go through all this, I would have rather him just killed me. And that,
what?
Like, yes. She said,
no.
She said that, crying and all that at the same time. And that was
Whoa.
like, woof. So then she was asked about Kelsey. And she, I don't know what they asked her, but she said, Kelsey was my best friend. She knows I would never do anything to hurt her. Kelsey, okay. So then she said, well, so when's the last time you talked to Kelsey? And she said, it was sometime in 2020. She said, Kelsey, the reason she stopped messing with Kelsey or talking and communicating with Kelsey was because she met up with TORY after he shot me and after he beat her up. She met up with him and she couldn't forgive her for that.
After he beat her up, he beat up Kelsey too?
Yeah. You didn't hear last night? Yes, ma'am. He beat her up.
Yes, I did hear.
Well, I won't say he beat her up. This is what they're saying. It happened.
Right.
I can't say that definitively, but she said that TORY, after the shooting, got out the car and went and grabbed Kelsey's hair and slapped her in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's like, how you gonna meet up with him behind my back? Like what? Like he shot me. You know what I'm saying? So she's like,
I agree. That's supposed to be her best friend, right?
Yep. And she said, I never dated anybody Kelsey dated my whole life. I felt betrayed by the meetup. Who does that? She said.
You might not have dated them, but did you fuck them? No, please, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she said dated.
Excuse me.
It is true, because she did say date. She didn't say, yeah, you're right. She didn't say I was never intimate. She didn't say that. She said the last time we spoke, she asked me, what am I going to do for money? She said that was the last time they spoke. And that was in 2020, sometime, like around.
Who said, what am I going to do for money? Kelsey?
Mm-hmm. Because Kelsey was her assistant.
So Kelsey's going to come to Megan like, what am I going to do for money? But you met up with this man that shot her. Like, that's not made problem, baby. Not after you do that type of disloyalty.
And what that sounds like to me is also, well, because the word is, or Megan has said that he bribed both of them to be quiet.
Right. Right.
And so for her to say, well, what am I supposed to do for money? Meaning like, well, if I didn't meet up with him, basically like, well, he's offering me money. Like, what
Right.
do you expect me to do? You know what I mean? So maybe
Oh man,
what I'm
messy,
thinking,
messy.
now that I say that too, I'm thinking prior to her meeting up with him, Megan must have already had cut her off. Because it doesn't make now it's kind of doesn't make sense, because if she's her assistant, why would you not keep making money by still being her assistant?
Right.
Why does, you know what I'm saying? Unless what she's saying is, because that could have been it too, because it wasn't clear. But unless what she's saying is the last time we spoke, she said, what am I going to do for money? Maybe because Meg said you're fired.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, what am I going to do for money? So I don't know. But Kelsey, she's supposed to testify tomorrow, child. So I'm
Oh,
sure.
that's gonna be a mess, child.
Okay. So the prosecutor asked, did Kelsey have a gun? She said, no, we didn't have any clothes on. Where are we going to put a gun? And she said, did Kelsey or Jaquan shoot you, which is the driver? She said, no. Who shot you? TORY. Loud and clear, she said that.
Mm-hmm.
She said, do you have any doubt that he shot you? She said, nope. Sure don't. She said no. A really strong and loud no. And that was the end of her testimony with the prosecution, her initial direct. And so the cross exam is the defense attorney coming up. Now, he did advise her of tough questions coming and apologizing ahead because he's a man and he realizes that she's been through, something, but he, I guess he felt like he needed to do that. So he took it.
The defense attorney apologized initially?
Well, he kind of said,
Okay.
I have to say that, these are going to be some tough questions. And, being that I'm a man, I guess he felt like he needed to preclude.
That was smart.
Mm-hmm. So he doesn't look like an ass. Yeah.
Right. That was smart.
I
okay.
agree. Uh-huh. Okay. So the prosecution, he started out with mentioning Kylie's house. He's like, Kylie's house on July 12th, 2020. Then he kind of said, well, after you left there, and remember when you were questioned at the curb? She said yes, by the police, he means. He said, what about in the ambulance? She said no. He said, what about at the hospital? She said yes. And then he said, on 12/16/20, like 4 days later, you spoke to Detective Stogler on the phone. She said yes. Now, Detective Stogler, this is a sidebar, is the detective that was fired for having a domestic violence incident that happened in his own life. So he was fired after all of this had happened. I don't know when he was fired, but this is the defense bringing up this particular detective.
Yeah, because he's trying to throw shade his way, like that can somehow dirty up the case. But we know it don't. We understand
and I think he's going to testify at some point for the defense.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I'm not positive, but I know that it was mentioned that even though the prosecution chose not to utilize him after that situation, that the defense can. I don't know if they will. Okay, so Detective Stogler, she said she spoke to him on the phone. She confirmed. And he said, well, who else was on that call? Was Rock Nation on the call? I think he asked if Desiree, because I have Desiree from Rock Nation. She said yes. He asked, I thought he said Shapiro. I was thinking Robert Shapiro, the lawyer. So I don't know. And she said not on that call. Okay, so then, so he was, I guess, asking these questions because later he's going to probably bring up something that's going to contradict, because he's trying to point out flaws in her.
Yeah, because he's going to say something about Rock Nation put out this,
because he was like, are you sure? Asked him. She was like, well, I mean, as far as I can recall. And just to let y'all know, that was a lot of her testimony, was that she didn't remember a lot of nothing. Okay, so then he brings up Gayle King. He's like, you spoke to Gayle King on CBS? She said yes. he said, do you remember saying that TORY offer? He's like, what about TORY offering you money? She said, I don't remember. TORY being on probation? She said, I don't remember. He said, you lied about your sexual relationship. She said, yes. He said, you lied. He was just like, okay, you lied about this. You lied about that. He lied about the sexual relationship. You lied about the glass in your foot. You lied about. So this was his opportunity to go back and say, you know, you were inconsistent.
You're a liar.
Basically.
You're a liar. That's what he want to show. She's a liar. Mm-hmm.
He said, didn't you invite TORY to Kylie Jenner's house? She said, yes. She said, and he said, he came late at night, 5 hours later. And she said, I don't remember what time, but yeah, I was late. He said, had you been drinking? She said, yes. Where was Kelsey? She said, I don't remember. He said, passed out drunk? She said, maybe. He said, do you remember taking shots with TORY once he was in the house? She said, no, I don't remember.
So they're all drunk. So how would she know? Like, we see what he's doing. We see what he's doing.
Yeah, and it was 2 years ago. She reminded him of that later. But he said, so you were ready to go home? She said, yes. He said, what time was this? She said, I don't know. He said, because you wanted to go home because your wig was coming off. She said, yes. He said, EJ told you to leave, and that's her stylist. Her stylist was there.
Yeah, EJ's famous kind of for that,
said,
all the styling, yeah.
Yeah. She said, and I think I had mentioned him, but I said his name, which I said his whole name, which is Eric, yesterday. But so I'm talking about the same person. And he said my wig was slipping. And he said, why didn't you leave with your driver? She said, which was EJ. She said, EJ already left. He left without us. He said, she said, I was going to leave with TORY. And he said, okay. He said, why would you rather leave with TORY? She said, it would have been she said, it wouldn't have been unusual to leave with TORY. We always partied together. So they were hanging out a lot. Like they were friends and like, you know, or she thought. And then he just skipped that on and said, you had a purse? She said, yes. He said, luggage? She said, I don't remember. He said, did Kelsey have luggage? She said, maybe. Kelsey had luggage. Let's see. He said, so you...
And what does that have to do with the price of tea in California? Any of that?
He's asking her that because yesterday's testimony with the officers...
They're going to try to make Kelsey seem like she shot him. We see the TV.
Yeah, he started out the gate doing that.
Yeah.
Yesterday's body cam video, when the officers were searching the SUV and the luggage and the purse were in the car. And for what I saw, they were both in the back seat, the luggage and the purse. But there was somebody else said, which this person advocates for TORY, but that the purse was in the front seat on top of the gun, and which obviously makes it seem like Megan had it. But anyway,
Lord have mercy.
I know. I was like, oh Lord, this is why I went to the court, just for that reason, because I knew it was going to be a bunch of lies being told and people spewing the narrative. Okay, or spinning the narrative. So that's why I think the purse and the luggage are coming up, because what they're going to try to say, exactly like you said, is that, well, Kelsey had an opportunity to grab the gun because it could, you know, because the luggage was back there, the purse was back there. Yeah, they're just basically leaving a lot of room for reasonable doubt, and that's, you know, what he's supposed to be doing.
Right.
Yep. So he said, so you and EJ put your stuff in TORY's car? She said, yes. And he kept just asking her, nitpicking that same, like, why did you want to leave? Like, and she kept saying, or why didn't you leave? I'm sorry. He kept asking her, well, why didn't you leave? You said you wanted to leave. Why didn't you leave? She's like, I didn't want to leave. I wasn't ready to leave. I just wasn't. She was lit. They were partying. She was at Kylie.
They were partying. That's right.
So she wasn't ready to leave. So what it sounds like happened is that she with her and just EJ, because EJ was going to go ahead and leave. So they took her stuff out of the car and they put it in Tory's car. But Tory wasn't there, or his driver. I think they just did it on their own, and which is not a big deal. If that's your friend and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go home with him. Let me get my stuff and put it in the car, and you can just
they don't want to leave their stuff. They partying. They know that whenever we leave, our stuff will already be in the car. They just like, that's a normal thing to do. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, so I guess he's like, well, why are you doing that and not them? Tory, meaning Tory, and like, why isn't he doing this for you or whatever? I don't know. The questions to me do seem like you're really just trying to cloud this up. Like you're not really trying to get to the truth. You're just trying to make it confusing. But yeah, she just kept saying, I didn't want to leave. I wasn't ready to leave. She says she doesn't remember going back. Okay, so I don't know if you remember yesterday's testimony. It came up that she left. They all left, but then they came back. The arguing started in the car, and she said, I need to go back. I left some stuff. I need to get my stuff. And then they went back, supposedly. And then that's when Kylie said Kylie supposedly said for her to leave because she was being loud and angry. And so she said she didn't remember going back to the house. He said to get your slides, which they didn't mention slides yesterday. They just said her personal belongings. So she said she didn't remember doing that. Tory gets in the car and sits in the back seat, he asked, and she said yes. And Laquan, the driver, is driving, yes, she said. Kelsey gets in the back, yes. If he would have took me, she said, if he would have just took me home, we would have never be in this position. That's what she said. She said, so he said, asked about the arguing. She said Meg and Tory started arguing, and then Kelsey backed Meg up. And then and then Kelsey and Tory started arguing once that happened. So she made it seem like after that, she didn't argue no more. It was Kelsey and Tory that were actually arguing. The defense attorney asked if his client Tory asked Kelsey, do you know who you're backing up? She said, no, I don't remember that. He said, did my client, what is this? Client, that you and him, tell Kelsey that you and him had a sexual relationship? She said, yes. And then the lawyer said, Kelsey became upset. She said she was confused. And then he said, did Kelsey say that you backdoored her before with other guys? And then she denied being with anyone that Kelsey was ever
now, you
with.
know, them old people on that jury don't know what no backdoor means. You need to cut it out.
That's what he said, backdoor, child.
Child, please. Just
Kelsey
like you said yesterday, he looked like some old mafia hitman lawyer.
He does. He definitely has that presence. Him and his what do you call the other attorney that's helping him out? They both look like they just stepped off of a Godfather set. Seriously. So yeah, she's like, no, I never in my life. I mean, she was very adamant that she never messed with nobody Kelsey messed with. The lawyer, the defense attorney. Okay, let me go back up. Doesn't recall saying anything to Kelsey. Oh, because he said, well, what did you say to her? What did you say to Kelsey after that? So yeah, she must have. So she did acknowledge Kelsey did accuse her of that, and she denied it. And he said, "What did you say?" She said nothing. She basically said she didn't recall saying anything back to Kelsey about it, and she said because at that point Tory and Kelsey were arguing, and then he showed Meg the police report where she made the statement to the detective. And he asked her if it refreshed her memory because he asked her He asked her something. I don't have it in my notes. So whatever it was, she couldn't remember. And he said, well, does this refresh your memory? She said, yes. And then he said, okay, did the police ask
So
you?
whatever it was she contradicted herself to some extent because that's why he did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when you say I don't remember, and then you're reminded and you go, okay, yeah, I remember. I don't know, that could just be because she said it a lot. I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't remember. But you have to remember how, okay, when he showed up, they said when he showed up to Kylie's, Kelsey was passed out drunk. Meg, she's a much bigger person. She probably can hold more liquor. And
It's 4 a.m. in the morning. Who
4
knows how
o'clock.
long they've been partying? Who knows
Yeah,
what type of party favors they don't have? Because it was probably
exactly.
more than all that, all that, all that.
Okay. Let's see. So she said, yes, it refreshed her memory. So then he said, did the police ask you who you were arguing with? She said, I don't remember. And then he showed her the police report. And she said, says the report say it, but she didn't say it. Oh, okay. So that's when she was like, well, that's what it says on the paper. She kept saying, she called the police report the paper. So every time he would say, let me refresh your memory, she's like, well, I don't remember, but it says it on the paper. She's like, I don't remember. She's not going to admit she said something or whatever, because she says she doesn't remember it. And even though it's on the police report, she still don't, because that, she doesn't trust the police. That's made obvious by the first lie about the glass.
Right.
So, and that's not unusual for people to distrust the police and for the police to be deserving of mistrust. I mean, I'm just saying.
I agree.
Okay, so and I agree with whoever said earlier in the chat about like does this even matter? Only thing that matters is the shooting and who did it, But this type of thing, as we've been saying, is just proving someone's reliability. They're basically trying to paint a picture for the jury. Can you trust this person? Can you believe this person? So if he, throughout his whole what is this called?
Testimony.
Yeah, well, I was saying the lawyers, but yeah, throughout her whole testimony.
For the lawyers.
Yeah, it's all good. Testimony works. Throughout her whole testimony, if he's pointing out flaws and holes and contradictions and regardless of why the contradictions happen or what it was, it does paint a picture. It's a fuzzy picture. It's
right. And even though the jury is supposed to follow the letter of the law, the actual charges, when they go over the charge sheets and all that, if the jury starts to feel like a witness is a liar, then that's going to paint bad for them. Tory's going to have to testify, Goddess. Tory's going to have to testify. That to save his ass. Okay, I'm sorry.
I can see Tory testifying too. I wonder if he will, because they didn't say, and I don't know if they even ever do that. I don't know if they ever say, well, he's going to be testifying. But yeah,
he's going to have to testify to save his ass.
Yeah, I agree, because this is a lot. Her testimony was powerful. Whether you believe it or not, it was definitely jarring. The courtroom was. Even though people weren't saying anything, you could feel the energy. You could see the people writing, how people were scribbling. It was a lot. Let's see. So she denied being with anyone Kelsey was with. Doesn't recall saying anything to Kelsey. Lawyer shows the paper. Oh yeah. Okay. So she's once. It says once Tory started, she said once Tory started being disrespectful, because he's continuing to ask her about the arguing in the car. He's continuing to ask her who was arguing. You said it was him and Kelsey. But then first it was you and him. And then, she's like, well, she said, once Tory started being disrespectful when he was arguing with Kelsey, because she said when he was arguing with Kelsey, he started calling her out of her name, calling Meg out of her name. He was talking shit about Megan while he was arguing with Kelsey and calling Megan out of her name. So
he probably got all nasty, calling them the H word, B word, all that.
Yeah, for sure. And he brought up Megan getting out of the car at the bus stop on Sunset. Okay, and she said, because he was begging, Tory helped you, or he got you to come back into the car. And she said, everybody was trying to get me to back in the car, not just Tory. Okay, and then he said, did you tell the detective you called your manager to come pick you up when she was at the bus? She said, I don't remember. Then he showed her the police report. She still doesn't remember it. She said she probably did. She's like, I would have called my manager. That's like something normal for me to do. She kept, and like, this is where my note says, she kept calling the police report that piece of paper. And she kept saying, well, that's what's on that piece of paper, but I don't remember.
Go on, man. Like,
you mean the police report? He asked her about times of getting out the car, leaving Kylie, and she doesn't remember. Asking about the second stop that they made, he asked her, where was your house from where they were at? And that was where, this is where the shooting took place. She said, I was on a side street and it was dark. She said, I was just going to figure it out. Because, you know, he's basically saying, you just got out the car and, you know, where was your house from here? And she said, it wasn't far. I would have figured it out.
She was mad. Like, what is he? She was going to just figure it out. Like, that's right.
Because apparently she didn't live that far from there. She's up in the Hollywood Hills too. So there are a lot of like small windy roads in that neighborhood. But if that's her neighborhood, even, you know, I know she's not from here like that, but I mean, you know, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, if you mad and drunk and high, because I think there was weed. I remember, and I'm not saying even the weed would have wore off by now, but I'm just saying that there was other things besides liquor, I believe, especially if they was at Kylie's house and Corey Gamble was there. Because Corey, like I mentioned yesterday, was mentioned by the defense. They alluded to him maybe testifying. I kind of don't believe it. I feel like
I'll wait to see that. I don't believe it.
Have to wait. Yeah, because I noticed he didn't mention Kylie this time.
His wife will beat his ass. Kris Jenner will beat his ass. He go up there and testify.
I was gonna say Kris Jenner is probably gonna tell him, you better die before you do that, because
that's right. She is not going for that bullshit. No.
G said they not testifying. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, she said, I was just gonna figure it out. She said, I didn't want to be in the car anymore. He was disrespecting us. I got out on the passenger side and started walking straight. And then the defense attorney put a map of like the neighborhood on the TV screen so she could, you know, see what he was talking about visually. He said, how long after you got out of the car before you heard dance bitch? And she said, a few seconds. And they said, he asked if she remembered that Tory was only wearing swim trunks. She said she didn't remember because it was 2 years ago. She confirmed that Tory was sitting behind the driver's seat at first, and she didn't see him until he had the gun in his hand shooting at her. And at that time, he was behind the passenger seat. So then it became a whole questioning of, well, how did he get from behind the driver's seat to behind the passenger seat? Did he get out the car and go around, or did he climb over Kelsey? And she's like, I don't know. I didn't see how he got to that side of the car. And she said she just kept repeating, I just remember he shot me with a gun. That's what she said. Yeah, she said, I didn't see him until he had the gun in his hand shooting at me. But she didn't see how he climbed or got to that side of the car, and he kept harping on that. Like it was such a thing. Like, well, what do you mean? Well, if you didn't see him do that, how'd you know who had the gun? How'd you know who? She's like, because I saw him with the gun. When he said dance bitch, I turned around and he had the gun and he shot. Like, I turned back around and I froze. She put her head down.
Right.
Like,
I believe that because one of his big things was Meg was the only one to hear the word stance bitch. Nobody else heard that. So again, that's another thing of Tory word versus her word. So that's another example why he's gonna have to testify to prove any of these statements that the defense made in their opening argument, to prove that. Goddess, let me ask you a question. Do you think that the defense did a good job? I know Meg had a very strong testimony and held her own, but do you think that they did a good job today?
The little bit that I was able to witness, I mean, I would say yes, because they are hired to plant seeds of doubt, and just basically cloud the situation, or to get their people off. So I do feel like they not really poked holes. I don't like the saying poked holes. I mean, he kind of just pointed things out and he put it together to look like it was a consistency of lies. That's what he made it look like.
He left room for seeds of doubt, and then so people can try to form some reasonable doubt, because he only needs one. But the bottom line is, if the evidence and the testimony corroborates, we'll have to see how that plays out.
Exactly. Okay, I was looking at this video I had to see if I could do a screenshot so you could see, because I see that G asked, can we talk about him parading his son around so calculated? And it's funny because that's all we was talking about. That's one of the topics of the court, lobby. Like, look at him and his son, cute, but his son shouldn't be here. Why are you doing? Like, come on.
It's not appropriate, because he's not that old. What is he, like 9 or 8? Something like that old.
No, he's more like maybe 5, 6.
Yeah, that's inappropriate.
Yeah, so it's very tactical. I'm sure he was advised to do that. His publicist, she definitely is somebody who, she looks like she throws her weight around. I mean, literally and figuratively. But she's a pushy lady. Like, I see her moving around and stuff, and I'm just like, ooh, this lady is something else. She has a certain attitude about her. Like, I can see how these planted stories and things, these blogs, that she's the responsible party for this. I could see how that the person like her, from what I've observed in my intuition, would do stuff like that.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of planted stories, so she's definitely doing her job.
But another YouTuber who was in court and talked about this today said, that Kelsey Megan didn't have proof of any of the planted stories or things that Tory said to blogs. But I feel like that shouldn't be her responsibility to provide. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she should have to show proof.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember some things that were, because I remember thinking when he was saying stuff like, why is he saying these things? It was just like weird to me that he was speaking on it, because we hadn't really found out anything yet, meaning before she came on IG Live.
Right.
And said what she said, and basically said he shot her. Prior to that, there were some things that came out to, I guess, make sure that he wasn't being called out. I don't know. I can't remember myself.
His little short ass Napoleon attitude, sawed off shotgun, little short ass, intimidating her, going to Rolling Loud in Miami, all on stage, knowing he's not supposed to be around her. That's why his ass got on house arrest, because he thought he could just do whatever he want in these here United States of America. Okay? Yes. He just thought he could intimidate. He thought he could just, throw his shots, talk his shit, and wasn't nothing gonna happen. Okay? So
yeah, and I think actually the house arrest didn't happen yet at that point, because the house arrest happened because of August. But what they did do was, I think they raised his bail amount
Right.
That was the
That's right.
punishment prior to the house arrest.
Right.
Yeah, because he's so that when saying that, just to say he's had a couple of warnings.
Yep.
He was waiting on this trial. Okay, so let's see, where did I leave off at? So she said she wasn't being questioned by the police. She was being questioned. Oh, okay. So questions, Meg. So he brings up this IG post, the defense attorney does, that Megan posted with her foot injury. There was a picture that she showed, and then there was a post with a caption. Before I came live, I meant to try to find it because he put it on the screen, but I couldn't really see it, and he read it a couple times, but it was a longer post. Let me see if I can find it, because what he said, because he shouldn't have read it the way he did, and I'm gonna tell you why. But let's see. If my search skills. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. I think this is it. People on social media is y'all like to hear bad news before good news. A lie spreads quicker than the truth. And y'all really believe in the shit y'all make up. I got hit at the back of my feet because when I got shot, I was walking away facing the back. And that's in all caps. She said, why would I lie about getting shot? Why are y'all so upset that I don't want to be in the bed sad? Matter of fact, I'm going to put this on the screen.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so let me go back here. So she said, I got hit at the back of my feet because when I got shot, I was walking away, facing the back. So he had asked her, like, what did you mean by facing the back? And she said, means my back was turned. And that's when he said, well, how'd you know he was the shooter? How did you know she said, because he said dance bitch. And I looked back and he had the gun in his hand and he shot. That's what she said. Okay, so let me finish reading this. She said, why are you, I got my stitches out my feet like 2 weeks ago and I was ready to go celebrate WAP going #1. But I usually don't address internet. What is that that's crossed out? Because I'm wondering if that's the word. No.
Bullshit. I don't usually address internet bullshit.
Okay, internet. So this is not the post though that because the post he read, there must have been another post too. Because the post he read had the word, had the N word. I'll just say the N word. I do say the word sometimes, but I don't want to, because I know somebody I saw in here don't like it, so I'm not going to offend. But yeah, the lawyer read a post of hers and said the N word, but he said the whole word, like the actual word. And Megan, you should have seen the look on her face, like, no, he didn't. So she goes, can you repeat that?
She said that?
Uh-huh. She said,
wow. All right.
And when he repeated it, he only repeated the ending part. And she said, can you repeat the whole thing? And he said it again. I think she was trying to let him know, like, that was not okay. Like,
right.
Fix that. He didn't get it. he just repeated it again. But I made a note. I made a mental note of that, and I thought, and we were talking about that too. Everybody else thought that was actually funny that she did that. Okay. That's a nasty foot injury, man. Okay, let me get back to this. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so she said it was only a few seconds. He said dance bitch that she turned and then she turned around. She was asked if she remembered. Okay, I said that part about the swim trunks. She said it was 2 years ago. I think I'm on a wrong page here. Yeah. Okay. So he was asking, like, why did you say that on Instagram? Like, why did you go on? She said, because I wasn't being questioned by the police. I was being questioned by the internet. So I guess he's like, well, why didn't you tell that to the police? You went to Instagram. She said, because I wasn't being questioned by the police. I was being questioned by the internet. And he said, why didn't you tell the police what happened earlier? She said, because snitching is frowned upon by the hip hop community. And she said,
she telling the truth now on that part. He might. Well, he does get it because his grimy ass. That's who he defends, so he knows what's up. That's why he used the word backdoor and stuff because he think he all in the culture. But anyway, she is telling the truth about how that is frowned upon in the community, but at the same time, also the victim thing that I was talking about too with women and stuff, why they stay silent too.
Yep. So the defense attorney next brings up the IG live where she came out and spoke and said, Tory shot me. And she said, the one with my green hair? He was like, huh? She said, with my green hair? And he's like, yeah. And she said, he asked her, how long after the shooting did you make that post? Did you, say that on Instagram? She said she didn't remember. She don't remember exactly like what the distance of what the time frame was. And says didn't tell the doctor because she thought he said, well, why didn't you didn't tell the doctor either? He said, because I didn't thought the doctor would tell the police. And she said she was angry when she made that post on Instagram. And she said, I could have said a lot. I guess she meant I could have said more than what I did. Let's see. Did you say you saw him pull the gun out? I saw him with the gun in his hand. Okay, so he was saying, did you say that you saw? She said he asked, did she see him pull the gun out, or reminded her that she said that she saw him pull the gun out, but she said I just saw him with the gun in his hand and that he was shooting her. She's like, I saw him with the gun in his hand and he was shooting me. I don't remember him pulling out the gun. She was like,
point blank. Like keep asking her those kind of questions, and it's gonna steadily reiterate. I saw him with the gun in his hand shooting me. That's all that matters. He shot me.
Yep. So then he approaches her with the police report to remind her, I guess, that in the police report, maybe it says there that she saw him pull the gun out. And she said when he shot her, he was partial. Okay, so then they went on like, well, where was he when he shot you? She said he was partially in the car. His feet weren't touching the ground. So like that's why I think it was said before that he was standing on the floorboard, on that sideboard, that little step thing that big trucks have.
Yeah, his little 4-foot ass was standing on the damn floorboard because his ass couldn't be, because he's short as hell.
So she said his feet weren't touching the ground. He was hanging out the car, partially his upper body, and he was shooting the gun. She said she was I guess it was determined after questioning that she was about 8 feet away when she saw him with the gun. She agreed with that. And she said his head, his torso, his hand with the gun what she saw, and he was shooting her. He said, "Dance, bitch," and shot me. She denies fighting with Kelsey. She denies arguing with Kelsey. She says that didn't happen. That was her. That was it. That was her stance on that. I didn't fight with Kelsey and argue with Kelsey because that was the defense's whole thing. Jealousy. You're fighting with her. You were mad about how he was giving Kylie Jenner attention. You were arguing with Kelsey when TORY told that y'all were messing around with each other, whatever, and then Kelsey was pissed. Kelsey fought you. Kelsey got out the car. She opened the passenger seat, and y'all fought. Her jewelry was in the middle of the street, and her fingernail was there with it. And
yeah, because of TORY's ass, not because of Megan.
Right. So that gunshot residue being found on both Kelsey and TORY is the reason I think they are honing in on Kelsey, because that is the only thing they have to say that it could have been someone else. It could have been Kelsey. If they didn't have that gunshot residue, he'd be really dead in the water.
Right. It's going to be interesting tomorrow with her testimony.
Mm-hmm. It will. I hope it's true, because people, one reporter, like, mind you, I'm out here, I'm hanging out with my people now. These are my people. Shout out to Rachel from Rolling Stone magazine, and my friend at Billboard and people. I'm hanging out with all these people are cool too, and I got their info. We got group chats going on, child. So
shout out, Goddess. Do your thing, Goddess. Go ahead on, Queen.
I'm out here networking in these streets, okay?
Yes, Queen. Yes.
I actually did meet like some really, really cool people, and one of them, she likes TORY, but it's funny because I was like telling myself, actually, I gotta ease up on people, because people do feel how they feel. Not to say I'm not on my YouTube channel though. This is where I could really say what I say and feel what I feel, and if you don't like it, you don't have to be here. That type of thing. But to know that other people in my life, or like that I'm actually dealing with, feel a certain way. Now, this don't count for R. Kelly. I gotta say, I'm sorry. I just couldn't with somebody who supports R. Kelly and be cool with them, and like it didn't, like they, I can't do it. But outside of that, I think I can manage letting people have their opinion.
Exactly.
So I brought them up for a reason. I forgot why now. I mean, it's just so much stuff going on.
And I say it was going to be interesting with Kelsey testifying.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say, is that we, the people, the public, we don't, even the press, we aren't given that information of who's, unless they feel like it, unless they say it and we happen to hear it, or unless they decide to tell us, just because I guess, but usually you don't know till that day. Remember when we were following the R. Kelly trial and we didn't find out until the day of what was happening?
Right.
That's pretty much what this is. So it's like, God, like, I hope so. But a couple people pretty reputable. I was talking to this guy who shoots for AP. He was like, yeah, the friend is testifying tomorrow. I was like, you heard that too? Okay, well, he's like the third or fourth person to say it. So I'm gonna trust that, and I'm gonna show up.
Good.
And see what she got to say.
Yeah.
And I hope she
come back and tell us tomorrow night.
I sure will. And the driver is supposed to be testifying. I don't know if they're testifying in the same day. I hope they are, so that way I can call it a day when it comes to going to downtown LA. It's like the worst place you want to be going in the, during rush hour, which I haven't been. Actually, I've been going earlier. Your girl's been getting up. Your girl who likes to sleep till 9 o'clock. But Tracy said that part is definitely a lie. So you believe that she and Kelsey were arguing? Like, you think that she's lying about that? Michelle says she did not shoot herself. Yes, we do. And I think at this point, even when the attorney, I think the defense attorney even said, like, we know there was a shooting. Like, it's not that we're disputing the shooting. It's the who shot you is the question. So the who done it is what's going to determine if this man who's facing 22 years is going to be convicted or not. So there was a time I remember looking at him when she was doing her, when she was emotional, when she was really like, when it was a high intensity, she was on the stand crying and yelling. He looked, first time ever for me, looked startled. He had a look like shit, like,
Damn right, it's real. It's real.
He did.
That's
because
right.
outside of that, I have to say, I don't know if his PR and the people are telling him to go ahead and put a show on in the hallway for the press and the people, because he's in the hallway, he's chatting it up with people and playing with his son. He's, the son is a big focal point in, for him, where his attention is at.
Yeah, he wants all them jurors to see his little boy in there, We ain't stupid.
Mm-hmm. It was a circus today. It was really a lot of, and now it's just more so just the media, like, and now I don't want to say it like that, because I won't say even all of them are cool. The ones I was chilling with were cool and talking to. There was this one lady from NPR. I wish I had her name. I don't even know this lady's name. This other lady I was talking to said she's just a weirdo, but something went down. So after court let out, people go downstairs because they want to get their video or their footage of them coming out and all that. So TORY comes out the same door, and has his car waiting in the same place every day. So he's out there, everybody's following him, and his attorney comes out, and he usually answers a couple questions. Well, something was asked that pissed that attorney off, and it was so apparent. I didn't see it, but a lot of people heard it, because something was said and they were questioning, like, what did she say to him? What happened? And nobody knew what was said. And and of course, my nosy ass, I want to know. So I was talking to the lady. I said, well, why don't somebody just ask her? She's like, go ask her. I was like, oh, I don't want to ask her. Of course, I go ask her. Well, so I go to the lady and I say, excuse me. And it's funny because I was holding my phone, but I wasn't using the phone. It wasn't on. I wasn't, but she looked immediately. It was like she looked at my phone like she thought I was filming her or something. And I said, I just want to ask you, do you mind sharing what was said or what upset the attorney? And she was like, I don't want to, and what did she say? I don't want to disrupt, something about the integrity of her story. I don't want to mess up the integrity of my story with another publication. I said, I'm not with a publication. I said, I was just asking. She was like, no, I'm not going to share that. I'm like, okay. But anyway, that weird, like, person, like, cause everybody else is cool. Like, I'm talking to somebody, the lady I was talking to the most was from ABC News. I got her, we were texting each other, like, you ain't nobody. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But all that to say that tomorrow I'll be there. Hopefully Kelsey comes and testifies. I'm thinking it's not going to be as crazy as it was today. So I feel pretty positive about getting to be in the courtroom for the full term tomorrow, full session. I'm going to do my prayers and my meditation on that to make sure things go smoothly. But outside of that, do y'all have any other questions or anything about these couple of days that I've been there, or anything about the case that you don't understand or like or get? You know what I'm saying?
So does the prosecution gets to re-question Meg, but Meg is done, right? They didn't re-question her.
I was okay. So then when I ended my notes here, that's when they took a 15-minute break. And we were initially told we could just stay because that was the last break and they weren't going to be alternating any people or anything. They tell us that we're sitting there, and then next thing you know, some other bailiff person comes and says they need us to go out. We'll be allowed back in. Just have your number. And I had number 3. So I was like, I know I'm getting in. So yeah, we come out and they told everybody, they only called 9 through 29. Everybody else had to wait. I'm like, what? Because initially they let in the first like 8 of us.
Right.
After the lunch period. So then somebody said they tricked us. I was like, I guess they're just, people have different information. They're handling it differently because of Megan. It was like the president was coming through, the way they was having the hallway cleared and all these sheriffs. And I mean, it was a whole big deal, like she's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was just wondering too, if she was on the other side of it, would she have that type of like, grace of like clearing the hallways and all of that? Because Tori's just walking around, and again, I guess we've determined a bigger star at this point. But
the other two, well, one of them is supposed to be with his little biased media channel, and then the other lady that you talked about on the live from last night. I saw a picture of her today, and you showed the picture of her at the end of your live last night, right?
Yesterday, yes.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. She has no business, and I'm not saying that she's not a beautiful woman, but the outfit I saw, that was so inappropriate for court.
Well, you should have seen today, because it was. I didn't think
it was worse than that.
Oh,
and
we'll talk offline about that.
We gotta talk. No, we need to get on a members channel and cut the F up. Because let me tell you something.
Just a quick chat, because I just
yeah. But let me just tell you something. And the way she talks, she's such a Megan hater, and always talking about body shaming these stars and stuff. She needs to stop. She just needs to stop. That's it. Hello? Hello? Guys, can you hear me? Are you on mute? Can y'all hear me, chat?
Okay, can you hear me?
There you back. Okay, I can hear you now.
I got kicked out, and I'm asking you. I'm asking if you. I said, oh, she must have got cut off or kicked out. It was me. I apologize. I don't know what happened. It just said that my internet like glitched out or something. Damn you, AT&T. Okay, so what were we talking about?
The last thing I said is that she be body shaming all these little young rap artists, and she is so biased against Megan. She really has.
She is.
I
saw her. She was. So we're not going to say the person's name, but if you go to DJ Academics, she's been sharing her her notes and stuff on his channel. So she was with him live before I came live actually tonight.
And he's a Megan hater too. So
yeah, and he's and I think he's a friend of Tory's, which actually makes sense because I believe Tory linked them up. Because I noticed she's not going live on her own channel. She's going live on Academic's channel because he has such a big reach. He has a huge, much bigger. She has a pretty nice size channel too. But academics, you know, that's a whole different level right there. And he's been promoting her channel through her, you know, using his channel for this.
Right.
Let me see what's going on in the chat. What Miss Della say? Somebody said, I hear you, Miss Della. Oh, they think, unless you're talking about Love Warrior and getting confused. Okay. Yeah, she looked, yeah, I was like, oh, who dressed you, girl? Who dressed you? I mean, it definitely was inappropriate for court, in my opinion.
And to represent yourself as a media spokesperson or whatever
I don't think she's representing her, because she's going in with TORY and them as family. As that's what she told the clerk. I'm family. So I just know that
but she don't get in that car though, do she?
You don't get in that car.
You ain't that much of a family.
Somebody else mentioned that too. Like, well, they left her on the curb, but that's definitely meant for member. I do have story times about this that I will say for the member channel. So we'll definitely be doing that. So what else? Let me see if anything else in the chat. Byron is hella biased. Of course he's hella biased.
Yes,
I
is. Agree.
That's why, and that's another reason I didn't want him to know even who I was just like, I don't need his, just stay away from me. But the lady, that's what I was talking about, was the lady who I met, this one lady I met, she's a trip, but that's another story. But they were outside because she actually does photography too. She does it all, but she's on YouTube. I have so many new people YouTubes I need to find, and then I'll promote them once I check them out. But was trying to get TORY's attorney on her camera. You there, Love Warriors? I heard something. Oh, my internet went out again? No, that's not my internet. Okay. I don't know what that noise was. Are you there, Love Warrior?
I'm here, Goddess.
I heard a thump. Okay.
Yeah, I dropped something.
Oh, Michelle, that's not Miss Della. That's Priscilla. I'll say Priscilla, just Love Warrior. It's not Miss Della though. Miss Della probably sleep by now. Okay. So Dennis Byron was a part of this paparazzi crew that was trying to film and ask questions to the attorney, and he bumped this lady, like he elbowed the lady like out the way, like how they get aggressive like that. But she wasn't the one.
He elbowed a lady?
Yeah.
He seemed like he would do some ignorant stuff like that. He seems like he would. That's ignorant.
Because I asked her today, because it happened yesterday at the end of court, and I asked her, what happened with you and him? Because he was standing nearby. I said, what happened with you and him yesterday? I heard you going off on him. She was like, oh, she basically said he was a clown, and that she's dealt with him before. I think she covered Cardi's case too. I think they met there. But she said she went to him about it, because she was like, she's like, you guys always do that. Because she's a woman in this, in this whole paparazzi thing. It's a male-dominated field. So she's always dealing with these men. And she said they do worse to her, like trying to get them shot. And she said that she's like, I've dealt with him before. He's a clown. She's like, he's just, she's like, he's rude. And she said when she tried to call him out about what he did, he tried to soften it up like, well, hey, I know you.
Oh my God.
And she was like, I don't play that shit. Get out of my face. Like and that's that lady. I'm telling you, she's gotten into, she got into a couple of things even after today's court, which I'll get into another time. But yeah, it's some interesting characters up there. But yeah, your boy Byron is a piece of work. But I think this work that he's doing, because like I said, I would never want to just do this covering trials. I couldn't do it. It takes a certain person to try to be doing this, but this is what he does. It's like he chases these stories, actually, because every time there's a story, he's there. Yeah. He travels, and he covers the stuff, and he moves on to the next one. And I don't know how, but like I said, it
He
takes
freelances his stuff to TMZ. That's what he does.
Yeah. Somebody said TMZ is probably here, and I did say somebody here is calling in to TMZ, but I didn't even think about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even think about him because he does go live himself too. So, you know, I always think of him just doing YouTube stuff. But yeah, he does freelance. A lot of people sell this. I was talking to a few ladies. I met a real nice lady. She works for Jasmine Brand and soul something, and she pay, you know, she sells her stuff. Like they pay her ahead. She don't wait and then sell it. She gets paid to do it. So you know, that's
she's proven. That's good.
Yeah. And she's young too. A lot of these people out here doing their thing. I love it. But that's all I got till tomorrow. Okay, y'all, because I'm tired.
Me too.
I love and appreciate you guys for coming and hanging out for this download. And come back tomorrow. I'm gonna try to probably come the same time. I know it's late for probably some of y'all, and I apologize, but the time I get back from court and all of that, this is just me having enough time to get something to eat and come on. So again, thank you, because I know time is valuable, as are you. I'm gonna call you though real quick, because I gotta tell you about what I was gonna tell you. I don't want to say
okay. All right, warriors. Chat tomorrow. Peace.
Bye. Oh, and subscribe if you haven't done so, and share this video and comment. Y'all didn't comment last time. Please comment on my videos. Okay, bye.
Please comment. Love y'all. Bye.